All right. So today we are talking about our beautiful brand, BC Black. We are a craft legacy built on tradition. We represent craft grown products and their cultivators. Everybody that we work with has transitioned from the illicit market to the legal market. My goodness, my mouth is not working today. We like to think that our cannabis is different. We are very proud of the fact that most of our genetics are done in-house. A lot of our growers do their own breeding in-house, and we don't usually work with commercial nurseries. So everything that we're bringing to you is unique. And a lot of our growers have been working with the seed banks for a long time. They've got really great relationships. And so we're really proud of the fact that what we're bringing isn't stuff that you're going to find elsewhere on the market. Our focus at BC Black is always on the growers, and you can see some of their logos here. At this point, what I like to do is introduce our founder. His name is Ben Williams. He began the facility in Salmon Arm, and his team there has done some really great things. Ben spotted an opportunity when legalization happened back in 2018. He kind of jokes that he wasn't the best grower, but he knew a lot of people who were. So he partnered with all these people and helped them bring their products to the market. And we do the processing and packaging for BC Black, which we're talking about today. Another one of our brands called Bud Coast, another one called High Maintenance, distinct out of Alberta, as well as Pistol and Paris. Now, under the BC Black brand in Ontario, you will see Smoker Farms, Miracle Valley, Pineapple Buds, and Black Kettle Farms. Ben partnered with Janine, who's here with us today, and she has curated a all-women legacy sales team. Janine has been involved with micro cultivators since the beginning of legalization, helping many of them transition through the process. I believe it's over a third of them that are now legalized that Janine has helped. So she's very familiar with the struggles that they face and has been very much an advocate for those micros as well as retailers throughout legalization. That brings me to myself, Brady. I have been involved in cannabis since the 90s. My husband has been growing since the mid 90s. We got busted here in Edmonton in 1998, at which point we fled to the coast and grew all over the lower mainland. We came back to Edmonton in the early 2000s and started a sewing business. We had a retail shop and sold sewing machines.
Ran away from charges, they disappeared.
They did actually. There's a certain point if you don't if you've never been taken to court, they kind of disappear off the map after 7 years. And now that legalization has happened, all of that has disappeared. So, but unfortunately, COVID really trashed our sewing business. And so both my husband and I have had the opportunity to transition into the legal cannabis space. So that is a little bit about myself. Michelle or Carly, you want to tell us a bit about yourselves before we go on?
You betcha. So I joined in on Janine's team about 6 months ago as well, and not so much the illicit market, but more legal coming into Canada and legalization. I joined in and just started to learn and get the process down and got a hemp license on some land that I have and just started to learn and educate myself. So it's been really cool navigating this whole industry. Carly?
Hey guys, my name's Carly. I'm originally from Ontario, Barrie, and I moved out to BC about 6 years ago. And when I moved out here, specifically the Kootenays area, I wondered what people did for work, and then eventually got into helping some people with their outdoor grows and the patches and, doing some legacy trimming. So I have a little bit of experience there, and then met the wonderful Janine a couple of years ago, and she took myself and these lovely ladies under her wing, and we've kind of just been learning the legal side now. So that's the experience that I have, and I'm really grateful to be here and be learning so much.
So one thing Carly doesn't tell you guys, she's very modest, but Carly's one of the best pruner and trimmers in the Kootenays. And I've literally, I have people try to fight me for her time. she's constantly, they're still trying to book her on trims or for pruning because she's an elite level.
Charlie?
worker.
Oh, the Asian one.
Yeah, so I mean, the one thing I can say about our sales team and as well the legacy team that works at the joint venture facility is we're very familiar with the plant and we know how to grade cannabis. So, you know, one of the BC Black promises that we make is that we actually price it according to the grade. So we use an old school grading system when we're referring to the product. You know, it's a dub, it's a low trip, it's a high trip, it's a quad. And we go through about a 10-point sensory inspection to decide where to price the product. Because in my opinion, and I'd really like to hear from you guys, when you're selling something in the premium category, people expect perfection. They're paying $40 an eighth and they want it to have it all. They want the bud structure, they want the nose, and they want the experience. So, and the effects. So, you know, we're trying to deliver on all of those things at BC Black.
Awesome. Thank you, Janine. All right. Well, at this point, I kind of want to discern the difference between a micro cultivator and a standard processor because we work with little guys here. So it's important to note the differences between them. But as you probably already know, a licensed processor is a facility who's been issued a license with Health Canada to legally produce cannabis. Now, when Health Canada created the micro cultivator license category, the goal was to create a more accessible route to legalization for those small farmers because they were really struggling under the regulations of a standard license. Now, one benefit of this category is that the application time is supposedly faster and the license fee is significantly lower at $2,600 versus $26,000 for a standard. But there's restrictions for being a micro cultivator. A standard, they could have a 50,000 square foot building and they could grow in every square inch of it, whereas a micro is limited to 2,150 square feet of canopy. So everything they grow has to be within that parameter. Now, every micro that we work with uses a craft style of growing, and it's important to note that craft is a production style, not necessarily a measure of quality. There's no guarantees in this business, but our craft growers use techniques like hand growing or hand watering, whole plant hang drying, hand trimming, and a cold cure to help control cost and provide a premium product. Now, on the other side of things, these small farmers have a higher cost of product because they have a smaller yield over which to spread their cost. That results in a higher cost per gram. So some of the really big standards that are producing really efficiently, they're doing things at like as cheap as 17 cents per gram, whereas our little guys are producing between 175, 225 per gram. So there's a vast difference in the amount that those growers are able to yield in a profit based on the size of their batches. All right, now, another detail that I like to share with retailers, because I didn't know this for years, but something that a grower named Lori at Kootenai Aeroponic taught me is that sativas can take a lot longer in the growing process. They can take like 12 to 14 weeks versus indicas that can take 8 to 10. So when we consider that length of time over a calendar year, we might even be losing an entire crop's worth of profit. So sativas are more rare for one, and sometimes they're more expensive. So that just gives you some ammunition to use in your conversation when you're dealing with customers that are asking about that type of topic. All right, let's get back to these growers. Now, our cultivators, we're going to focus on them specifically. This is a picture of Surfer Mike at Black Cattle Farms. He is located in Langley, British Columbia, which is outside Vancouver. He's been growing since the early 2000s, and he grows in pots using cocoa under high pressure sodium bulbs. And if you look carefully at the photo here, you can see that Mike's plants are just in pots on the ground, and they are tall. Mike is growing like 8-9 foot tall trees, and Mike himself is like 6'4". But if you look really carefully, you can see he's sitting on a little red stool, and he scoots around his garden on that stool, and he defoliates from underneath, and he hand waters from underneath, and he's like a really hands-on personal touch type of grower. Have any of you tried the Triangle Kush out of Black Kettle Farms? I know it's been in Ontario a couple of times now.
Yes, we have.
The Stratford store has tried it.
Good, good. I believe we've got more coming out there. It's a legacy strain. It is a Kush that is bred from 3 of the best Kushes out of 3 major cannabis cities in Florida. This last batch came in at 28.92 with 3.69 terps. She's a really, really popular one here in BC, and it sounds like she's doing well in Ontario for y'all as well. This pictured here is Kyra. We call her human sunshine. She's literally a blessing to this earth, and we are so fortunate that she is using her blessing to produce beautiful cannabis, all based on pineapple genetics. They are growing on Indigenous land in the very South Okanagan. She and her partner Lane, who is a 2nd-generation Indigenous farmer. Janine, anything you want to throw in about these 2 lovelies?
Well, it's one they were involved with another licensed producer before, which was one of the quadiest producers on the legal market. They launched them, and then there was a lot of investors and there was a lot going on there. So they went on to do something, just the 2 of them. And when they did it, they were very, very, very careful in their approach. So what they did is, ahead of licensing, even when they were in their build and their application, Lane and worked on a breeding program for unique genetics. So they're really focusing on the pineapple flavor profile to have something nobody else has. So for example, their Hawaiian pineapple, that is bred in-house. Their pineapple party, that is bred in-house. And they have a few other offerings coming that were bred in-house, as well as a few that they've pheno hunted from seed. But, you know, I guess the deep water culture that they do, I found very interesting. I'm not sure if anybody follows Crondon Grows on Instagram, but I've been following that account for a few years just because of the deep water culture, the massive root structures, and the frosty quads that he grew were unlike anything I saw. And Kyra and Lane are using a very similar program to him. So I actually, like, as soon as I saw them posted on Instagram, I hunted them and begged them to be in our supply chain because I was very interested in what they were doing. And I definitely think that Pineapple Buds will be in the top 10 producers in Canada and known across Canada for that, for their product quality. They have very high standards, and it's just really been a pleasure to work with them. They're absolute professionals. And their love story, Brady, you should talk about their love story.
They're so sweet. They're both like athletes, and she's younger than him, right? I think they met when she was a bit younger, and he told her what to come back when she was done university or something. And they've been together ever since. But yeah, they are so sweet, so cute. It's beautiful to see sweet, successful people.
Yes. There we go.
Okay, Hawaiian pineapple. This is a Dole Whip by Cookies and Cream Sativa Cross, known for its tropical aromas and creamy taste. This last batch came in at 24.2 and 2.2 terps. You can see the picture there. They are just growing really, really beautiful flowers. What was this one? Hawaiian pineapple, right? Do we have another one that's going there as well?
Yes. So I'm just waiting on getting my NTPs here. We got our NTPs, but I'm waiting on, final registration and whatnot. So the pineapple upside down cake, basically this one is been really popular in BC. We launched with a larger format, and the 3.5s are coming out. They had one batch that they had done under, before they changed their bulbs, that came out at like 25%. The next lot's going to be coming in at 30. It's just a really, really beautiful cultivar, absolutely frosty, beautiful bud structure. And I'd say the aroma is sweet and tropical, but there's definitely some spicy notes here, and like some almost sour notes presenting. I don't know what part of the lineage that is, but it's a really, really complex flavor profile on this. And, it does the job. It knocks me out at the end of the day. Whereas the Hawaiian, that's something that, We're allowed
sativa? Yeah.
yeah, we're allowed to consume at work. I don't know about the rules there, but that's something we can have a little puff of on a coffee break and get right back at it. Or, on a busy Saturday with the kids, I can have a puff of the Hawaiian and, get my to-do list done. So the pineapple upside down cake is definitely more indica leaning and definitely heavier effects. So you're going to have more of the Hawaiian pineapple. There's not another crop of it for a couple months. You guys will see more in a couple months time. And then the upside down cake will be launching in October.
Beautiful. Something to look forward to.
Yes.
The
Excellent.
pineapple punch is amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
glad you liked it.
The Hawaiian pineapple.
Yeah, that one. Sorry.
Yeah. And
Super
it's beautiful.
tasty, like awesome.
And was yours really purple? Like, did you get a really purple bud?
Yeah, that's what I was sort of trying to hunt out. There was a Tangerine Dream product on the market when stuff first became legal. This is the closest thing to that flavor profile, and it's amazing.
Oh, I'm so happy you guys are enjoying it. I can't wait to pass that back to Kyra and Lane. I pass them every review, positive and negative. And I can tell you, when they first launch, like your first crops aren't the best. They took every single thing everybody said and they have tweaked it. And I'm really proud of the product they're putting out. I think they have a commitment to excellence. So I'm so happy about that.
Well, next up we have Smoker Farms. Janine, is this one going in again right away, I thought?
Yeah, so the Master Kush Ultra from Smoker, like I'll let you speak to Jeff though, Brady, because you know him so well.
Oh, of course. Yes, our master grower there is Jeff Aubin. He's been growing since 97. My husband and I really have a lot in common with Jeff, so he's kind of our favorite. But he's growing hydroponically in rock wool with a dosatron automated watering system, feeding and watering system. And he's just a super cool guy. He calls himself a caveman, but he literally has made the most progress out of the way that he used to do things into modernization. And he is producing a really, really beautiful flower there. He's so, so proud of his work. And he insists that you call it Master Kush Ultra. There's no shortening to MKU of this one. Okay, he wants to be clear. His flower is consistently beautiful. It's a cross between G13 and OG Kush. He's been growing this personally for 15 years. He's in a little mountain community that's been very cannabis based for since the late 90s. So he's quite comfortable up there. That last batch came in at 28.25 with 4.42% terps. She's been called straight gas by some very notable people in the cannabis industry. Yeah, do you have a date on that one, Janine?
I think some more is actually left the building Friday. So we have some more of a few different SKUs loading in. I know it's going to be the TK, the pineapple, and the MKU. I'll speak to what's going on with Landslide when we get there.
All right, well, here we are. Miracle Valley. They are actually not a micro, they are a small standard. They are located in Mission, which is just kind of in the mountains, just outside Vancouver, British Columbia. Our master grower there is Arlie. He's been growing since the early 2000s. They are probably one of our most efficient facilities. They are taking down a crop every single 2 weeks. They're highly systemized. They've got a lot of rooms. They really know what they're doing. And for being so high tech, it's kind of funny because they're all old school growers, like don't get my picture on camera and just super legacy peeps there. But they've got a lot of experience and it shows. They are producing a beautiful, beautiful product. And Michelle, if you will, please elaborate on their above.
Yeah, the certification. So they have a GMP certified facility. So that means that they're able to sell their product to Europe. And there's not a lot of facilities in Canada that have that certification or have that standard, just due to the fact that it's not a recreational product in Europe. It's medical, and they will give this to children. So it has to be specific, and it's just incredible to hear what those standards are, to understand what those mean, even I've been learning. And yeah, it's really cool. It's very cool on a level of science and how to help. So
It's exceptional for a facility of their size.
yeah, 100% too. That it's so clean, you know, like everything is so to spec and clean. So yeah, it's awesome.
So great, really.
So, you know, with Miracle Valley, Brady, if you want to flip to the landslide slide. So Miracle Valley has put out what I would consider some of the top quality flower in the Canadian market. It's, you know, the aesthetics wowed, it had a cult following. We literally can't keep this stuff on the shelf. But the problem that we've run into, you know, so the location of a lot of these facilities is way off the beaten path. So to get to the facility in Mission, actually from the Mission Mall, you have to drive 30 minutes down all these long, windy roads and get to a place where you don't even have service, called Miracle Valley in Mission. And that's where the facility is. And the reason that so many facilities are located in the middle of nowhere is because municipal zoning was prohibitive. So out of the 300 micro licensees licensed in Canada, I personally helped 80 of them get licensed. And I'm acutely familiar with the zoning issues. And thank God we had them, because you guys aren't going to believe this number, but we actually originally had 1,500 micro applicants in BC, which got weeded down to 50 because 1,450 could not get the zoning at the property they owned at the existing facility. Municipalities actually decided they would rather let them run medical ACM PR facilities and dump product into the black market than let them become recreationally licensed and contribute to road schools and hospitals. Yes, who's asking a question? Anybody? No? Okay, so Miracle Valley, because of the same reason, is way in the middle of nowhere. As a result, they're not on city water. They're all on well water, and sometimes their water will get a little tweaked and then they have to figure it out. So we're not going to have any landslide for a little bit because something happened with their water system and they're having to tweak it. The bud structure had come out really small. They weren't able to hit where they needed to hit, and they did an investigation and figured out what was going on. So as a result, the next load in we do of landslide will be pre-roll, but we're going to have landslide pre-rolls go live on July 5th. So we'll have more flowers shortly after that, but it's just going to be a little bit before we have more flower available, because we will not sell something that is lower quality in the same SKU. We just don't do that.
Awesome. Thank you, Janine. So July 5th for that one in Ontario then?
July 5th.
All right. Next, I'm going to talk about a couple of facilities that are not yet in Ontario, but you can anticipate seeing them really soon. Doonesbury Farm is out of Kamloops. They're being tight-lipped about who's working over there, keeping their master grower confidential. What really stands out to me about Doonesbury Farms is the fact that they're putting their focus on the curing. I really like that they have come up with a proprietary curing system. I know everybody cures in a different way, but I just appreciate that they are putting some extra effort into it. From them, we are going to be seeing one called Mint Cream Cake, bred by Seed Junkie Genetics, across of two classics, the Kush Mints and Wedding Cake. I'll tell you, anything wedding cake, just sign me up. Just ship it, I'll take it. That's a beautiful bud.
It is. It's absolutely beautiful cannabis.
Anything else you want to share about Doonesbury, Janine? I'm not terribly familiar with them yet.
Well, we're just getting to know them ourselves. We had one little launch. They had a one-off. They tried a genetic called Cake and Ice Cream that was an LA Kush cake crossed with an ice cream strain. Not to be confused with ice cream cake. There's actually an ice cream strain out there. So we did launch that in BC. It sold out in 20 minutes. Couldn't keep it on the shelves, but it was a one-time run. There's one review up. They said it was okay. It wasn't their, like it didn't knock their socks off, but it was good, and it was good value for the price. The Mint Cream Cake, I can say, is a much nicer cultivar, and you know, like I think everybody will really enjoy it.
Oh, a strong skunk smell. That's kind of exciting. You don't hear that very often, you know, skunk. Oh, Crazy Crystal. These guys are one of my favorites. But this facility is actually kind of founded by a dad who's been growing for like 50 years. He's now teaching his son and his nephew. So it's Doug, the dad, Dion, the son, and Courtnall, the nephew. They are growing some of the most old school looking weed that I've seen. It's so sticky and dank. I can't wait for Ontario to get their hands on some Crazy Crystal. Hey, Janine?
Yeah, no, it's gonna be really good.
What are we dropping in? Oh, the biscotti.
What I can say, guys, is we took this picture just because we needed a photo of the flower and it hadn't even been cultivated yet. So this is like a photo of a bud that was chopped off the vine in week 5. And we had
fresh.
because it wasn't even dried or cured, or was still growing when we had to do this for Ontario, because you have to do your product submission 6 months ahead. I mean, how am I going to know what the flower looks like 6 months ahead? So the flower is going to look absolutely nothing like this. It's going to look very nice. It's going to be mature. It's not going to be in week 5, and it's not going to have terrible bud structure. So as soon as I get more pictures of that flower, we'll go ahead and send it over. It's gonna have like kind of a gassy, cakey cookie profile. You guys know the taste, like that smooth kind of creamy on the throat, but with that fuel spicy finish that really grabs you in the throat. I love that. That's always a favorite of mine. It has a pretty complex flavor profile. And I think it's going to be really, I think it's going to be really great. And it's always exciting. So we have one kind of thing we go by here at BC Black, and every pallet of weed we send into Ontario is a couple less hockey bags to compete with on the illicit market. Because the truth is, every single one of these growers and facilities was active in the pre-legal days. So every time we're, you know, buying their product and supporting their entry into the legal market, we're also not having to compete on the illicit market with them, which is such a relief to me because it's been hard to compete.
All right, let's talk a little bit about our audience. We already talked about all our buds, but I just kind of want to go over again the key features of the flowers that we bring to the market is that it's premium craft. We are focused on high THC potency and, again, rare genetics. We like to credit the cultivators and the breeders of the amazing strains that we are bringing to the market. We focus on small batches and limited supply, bringing new strains to sample on a regular basis, and all of our products are produced in a craft manner. Now I want to talk a little bit about our packaging. You may have seen our products kind of change over the past year or less even since last summer. Initially, we were working with the tins and they also had a QR code on them. We had some supply chain issues through COVID, so we've been saving the tins for special drops, and Health Canada came out and smacked everyone around over the QR code. So that's given us the opportunity to change our packaging. We started with what was an adequate Mylar bag, and we've now graduated to a gusseted bottom with a thicker Mylar, and we're getting a boost pack in every bag that goes out. And now that we've gotten rid of the QR code, it's given us the ability or the option to improve our label. So we're including lineage now, our top 3 terpenes. The printing's a little bit bigger. It's just looking a lot bigger or a lot better. And if we ever get the larger format into Ontario, you can see it will be in the wider bag, and soon you will also see those pre-roll tubes, which actually hold the pre-rolls really, really nicely. I'm quite pleased with how they protect the pre-rolls. Does anybody have any questions about our packaging or any comments or on what you've experienced so far? Okay. I am going to move on to sell sheets then. We have Melissa at our head office facility. She took a lot of time to create these beautiful sell sheets. We're happy to share them with you. We do send them out to the entire mail list upon drops, but if you do not get them and you've brought in the product, please reach out to us. We're happy to share them with you. They have batch specific numbers on them, plus descriptions that your staff can use to help you sell these products. They're a great tool, especially if you have a less experienced bed tender. We also have a website, jointventurecraftcannabis.com, where every single product has its own page where the description stays along with product photos. This can be very valuable to you if your provincial website expires listings. The item will always exist on the joint venture webpage, and there you can see specific batch numbers, the top 3 terpenes, flavors you expect, as well as the percentages of terpenes. If you scroll to the bottom of the page, you'll find product images, as well as a generic sell sheet that you could use in a pinch if you didn't have the specific one. We also love to engage content creators. So I see we've got a huge crowd here today. I'm sure some of you are creating content on Instagram, maybe doing reviews or creating reels, whatnot. If you tag us at BC Black, Joint Venture Craft Cannabis, we are happy to share your reel to our page and across our network as well. Michelle, myself, Carly, and Morgan, Bo, we all share any of the things that tag us because we love helping you. We are here to help you. We're retail cheerleaders and that's our job. So let us help you. We also have videos on our YouTube channel. So if you would like the link, just reach out. We will share that with you, but you can find us at BC Black Cannabis on YouTube. And that brings me to the physical assets. Now, this is a really important topic that I like to talk about with stores. Now, here at BC Black, it's a priority for us to keep money in the growers' pockets, right? So when we create assets like this, that money has to come out of a budget, right? Out of the growers' pockets. So how do your stores feel about having these type of paper assets in store? Do you like them? Would you rather not? Are you more eco-friendly? You don't want that type of stuff? Please share your thoughts so that we know how to equip you properly.
All right. Now, is this our last screen?
Yeah, that's our last screen. I was just wondering if anybody had any thoughts on those.
Okay, could we stop
No?
the share and maybe we can see some more people here?
Yeah.
Okay, we'd love to do a Q&A, guys. Does anybody have any questions? Rebecca, I'm going to pick on you because you're the only one I can see. Hi. I don't know if Rebecca can hear me. There she is. Hi, Rebecca. We can't hear you.
Yeah, she's got one of the lovely computers that doesn't have a microphone.
Oh, no.
Okay,
We
Jeff,
can't keep
you
her
can ask.
quiet.
You can. We'll pick on you, Jeff. Do you have any questions? Any feedback?
I don't sell a whole bunch. I'm a regional guy. So I'm not the greatest in terms of questions, in terms of selling. I feel like your product honestly sells itself, to be completely honest. If people are coming in looking for something that's high quality, the price isn't horrible. I picked up 3 packages of the Hawaiian business before the weekend. In terms of those paper assets that Brady was talking about, I think I know BC is a little different than Ontario. We got, tree huggers and all, but I think the paper assets put it front and center in a customer's mind, especially where, if it's placed in the store. We have a lot of, visual merchandising, but I think it takes it right to the customer's face. And especially if it's got pictures of buds, people just gravitate towards that.
Okay, I'm going to show a sign and then I would like to know if you guys would like a run of these signs for your store. So just hang on a second. So they're just the ones we have, this says preserving legacy because that was a video series we're working on. But they're just a little sign. It's made from sustainable cedar from the Harrop Proctor region. What they do is they look for fallen trees and then they make them into signs. So it's completely sustainable. That's very important in BC. And we basically have made these little cedar signs with BC Black on them. Do you guys put signage like that up?
I will gladly take 8 of those.
Okay, just 8 because I could get a run. I don't know how many stores you guys have, but I could do a bigger run for you. So
I'll let Carly speak to that.
Yeah.
We would definitely put it in the Windsor store. We have lots
Okay.
of space for it.
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah,
Okay,
Cambridge too.
Is there a way that we could like get you guys to collect how many numbers? We'll send out a picture to you, Carly, and then you can tell me how many you'd like ordered for your stores, and then we'll get them made and sent to you. Will you be able to distribute for them from head office, or will you need us to send them to each store?
I mean, in terms of like shipping costs, it would probably be easier just to send them right to the stores directly. But again, we can also, I mean, then you'd just be dealing with the shipping costs. But if it comes to head office, we would just have to resend them out anyway. So, I mean, whatever kind of is the easiest way just to get these to the stores.
Okay, well, maybe Carly, what we could do, would you be okay if I created like a Google Sheets where you could just put the store, the address, and like whose attention I should send it to, and then we could create a Google Sheets that you and I both have access to, and then once we've collected which stores want to sign, we'll get those made and sent out in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I don't know if Eric or I have ever sent you a store list, but we can definitely create that document, and I'll make sure you get all store addresses, and then we could probably just put it to the attention of the store manager.
Okay.
Actually, Eric has sent me that, so I have access to all of the stores and the addresses, so I'll just forward it to you, Janine.
Okay, perfect.
Amazing.
Go from there. That's great.
Now, is there a certain company that does string cards really well? Because we've never created them before. So I'm wondering like what you guys like, what size, where you put them, how they get into customers' hands. Jeff?
We definitely do bag stuffers here.
Pardon me?
We definitely use bag stuffers here for trying to highlight new strains. We also use probably, I think they're 4x6. We have these plastic frames that we can post things around the store in.
Okay, 4x6 inch. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if any stores want to counter what I'm about to say, but even just working in a retail store, when the strain cards are kind of just sitting on the counters, I feel like people don't really care about them, and it's not something people are looking for to go to grab. If we just, automatically put those in the bags, and they do become whoever it was that said it, bag stuffers, it's in the bag. We're making sure the customers are getting it. So when they pull their stuff out, that's when they see it, rather than, maybe just having it on the counter or having it on a display. I think it'll get missed unless we're physically putting it in people's hands.
Right. Okay, see, and that's what I've heard too. I've actually had stores say, like, don't send me any paper assets. Like, we don't kill trees, we do digital. Like, absolutely not. And if I had just sent them, they would have been like upset with us. So I just find you really have to talk to your audience and see what they're into. Is there anything that you guys consider a gap in the market that you'd like me to see bring to Ontario? Any flavor profile or anything consumers are requesting that you haven't been able to get to them?
I think there's so much choice that, pinning down an actual, what's missing might be tough. There's so many things. I mean, we don't bring in, a quarter of what the OCS has. So to speak to that's tough. Just keep producing high quality stuff. And I honestly think, the legacy stuff, is those guys know what the hell they're doing. They've been doing it forever. So it's hard to compete with, especially when your nuts look like you guys do.
Yeah, well, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate your time. Does anyone have any other questions about our cultivators or processes? No? Okay. Well, I can give you guys some feedback that, we've all taken turns calling around Ontario, and we have to say that the reception when we call your stores, how friendly the bud tenders are. Everybody seems really engaged and excited to do their job. Sometimes we call and people just seem miserable. I can say that your chain and, how you guys have staffed your stores, how you have procured your products for your stores, you've curated a selection that's, attracting the craft consumer. And I think that you guys have definitely done a superior your job to some of the, like to pretty much every other larger chain with this many stores. A lot of them have been focused on kickback programs or, you know, whatever. I actually, Carly, you're not going to believe this. I received an email in my inbox from a new like 3-store chain this morning, literally calling it a quick kickback program. We know that you sell a lot of cannabis in Ontario. We'd be willing to bring into your store, but you have to pay to play. So like people aren't even trying to hide it now. And so when we have a store like yours that understands, like we take a very small rate off of our cultivators. So while other people are taking a 35% margin, we're taking about 10. And so because of that, we're passing everything on to the micros. This is keeping them in business. If you put your supply chain out of business by not paying them enough to survive, you no longer have their cannabis to pack and sell. So we've had a different approach, which is more collaborative with our cultivators, saying like, what do you need? What price point do you need at? How much do you need to make a gram? You know what? You can pick your packaging option. If you want to be in Mylar instead of a tin or a jar because you're going to make an extra 35 to 40 cents a gram on that, sure, you can go in Mylar. So these are the things that we've done to keep our supply chain flush, and we always pass on the savings to them. So when your store has brought in all our products and not tried to charge us for the pleasure to do so, like I've just been really grateful. So if you guys could pass that up the chain and, you know, let your executive know that we're really, really grateful that you guys haven't taken that approach, because we just simply can't afford it.
I mean, it definitely helps that you guys, you know, your stuff sells itself, right? You're going to start seeing more LPs and more companies doing that kind of that partnership. And unfortunately, that might just be the reality of the way this industry goes. But like you guys were saying, not everyone is at that scale where they can afford to do that. So it definitely helps that your product is fantastic and it moves itself. So.
Okay, well, thank you, Carly. Well, thank you guys all for your time today. And Carly will make sure to connect offline and get you guys anything you need. After this, you have all the digital assets, the sell sheets that you may need, correct? Okay, so we're good there. And then we'll work on getting some signage for your stores.
You bet.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for your time today.
Thank
we
you,
were
guys.
so grateful. It was nice.
Have a great
guys.
afternoon.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye.
Thanks, girls.
Welcome.
Okay, bye.